I think the Miami Dolphins have had a really underrated free agency and offseason as a whole so far. And I started off this offseason by making a video talking about the Brian Flores firing, and the Miami Dolphins fans made it known in that video that they disliked me very much, which I thought was really fun. I completely understood it and stuff like that. But since then, the Miami Dolphins, I think, have just continued to make, the right choice after the right choice. And overall, their offseason's built up to be not an amazing, not one of the best, but a really solid offseason that I think has added some key pieces and could really, turn the tables to have the Miami Dolphins going back in the right direction after a very disappointing season. But regardless, they decided to hire Mike McDaniel, who is going to be bringing, I think, a Shanahan-style offense, which I think is really good for Tua. I think anytime you could bring in an easy offense that's proven to work in the NFL, I don't mean an easy offense like, oh, it's super easy to understand. I know the offense is complex and stuff like that, but an offense that I think will benefit Tua's game, and also it's proven to work in the NFL. I mean, it's been in the NFL for how long? Ever since Kyle Shanahan's father, Mike Shanahan, was in the NFL, he used it. It's just a proven offense in the NFL. I think Tua is going to really, start to gain some footing in his professional career, which we haven't seen him be able to do so far. But what really sold me on the Dolphins having a good offseason, I thought it was a mediocre offseason, to be honest, was signing Terron Armstead, right? When you could sign one of, I think personally, a top 3 left tackle in the league, it's always going to be, a really good offseason. There's not players that are as good or as highly rated in their position available in free agency. So anytime you can sign somebody like that, it's going to improve your team. Now, I really didn't think Terron Armstead was going to be signing with the Miami Dolphins because of him playing left tackle. He's not going to switch to right tackle. He's literally played his entire career, his probably Hall of Fame career, to be honest, at left tackle so far. I don't see him flipping to the other side. And the fact that Tua is a lefty, the left tackle position isn't as premium, right? The left tackle position has become a premium in the NFL due to the fact that the left tackle is usually a quarterback's blind side, right? Most quarterbacks in the NFL, most starters in the NFL are right-handed quarterbacks, which means the blind side of them is going to be that left tackle spot. So that's become a really, really key piece in the NFL. We see left tackles get paid a little bit more money than everyone else in the offensive line, just strictly due to the fact that they protect the blind side of the quarterback. So Terron Armstead, we knew he was going to get a massive contract. I just didn't think it was going to come from the Dolphins, since Tua, like I said, he's not going to have that same blind side. His blind side is going to be coming from the right tackle position. But I don't think that when you get a Terron Armstead on your team, it's going to improve your offensive line, and you want to protect your young quarterback in any way you can. So I think adding him is a huge benefit to the team. 5 years, $75 million. Yes, it's a huge contract, but honestly, for a player, of his stature, I kind of expected his contract to be bigger. So I think it's a really huge get for the Miami Dolphins. Now, some other key pieces that the Dolphins have gotten so far that I think, really helped them this offseason is the fact that Dolphins have not been able to get a running game going since Tua's been there. And they made sure that they were going to have at least some sort of a running game by signing Raheem Mostert, which is going to be coming with Mike McDaniel from the San Francisco 49ers. So he's going to be a really key piece for some of these other players trying to develop the system and stuff like that. He's going to understand what system is being brought in. He's going to be able to help some of these younger guys and stuff like that. And I also think that Raheem Mostert didn't really get his shine in San Francisco, so I'm hoping that the Miami Dolphins utilize him correctly. But he's going to be in a two running back system, just like we see in the Shanahan offense all the time. There's not going to be a premier back because the Miami Dolphins also decided to sign Chase Edmonds from the Arizona Cardinals, who, again, I think is a really good find. I think he could fit this offense really well. Chase Edmonds, he got a 2-year, $12.1 million deal. Raheem Mostert got a 1-year, $2.1 million deal. So definitely signed some running backs that you had to give some money to, but when Tua's in his career, just hasn't had a running game at all. You need to make sure that you get that, because a running game for a quarterback is just huge. I think the two biggest pieces to have a successful young quarterback, or to help groom a young quarterback the best, is by having a good running game and a good tight end. And the Dolphins were able to solidify both of those things, right? Mike Gesicki is going to be staying with Miami Dolphins. They extended him right before free agency started. And then they bring in both Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert, which I think are great signings for them. They also went out and signed another wide receiver, Cedric Wilson. Now, Cedric Wilson had a pretty good season with Dallas. I honestly expected him to remain there, especially after they traded Amari Cooper. But he decides to come on down to Miami, see what he could do. He got a 3-year, $22 million deal, which I definitely think was a little bit of an overpay. But based on what we've seen some other wide receivers like Christian Kirk get, it wasn't too bad of a contract. And only 26 years old, he's definitely going to have a lot of room to grow and stuff like that. I don't know how he's going to fit the system. Definitely different than what Dallas does, so I'm excited to see what he does. But the Dolphins definitely needed some more weapons, so you get somebody that had a pretty good season in Dallas. Bring him over, try to help your young quarterback, like I've said so many times throughout the video. That's the biggest thing. And then a very key underrated signing is Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater has been a guy that's gone around the NFL, and everyone talks about how much they love him. They think he's a great locker room guy. He's always willing to help people. Now, I'm a Jet fan, so I know Dolphins fans, you already hate me. But Teddy Bridgewater was with the Jets for like 3 months, and Sam Darnold's rookie year, and he talked about how Teddy Bridgewater was like after every snap, after every play, he was always there to help him. He really, created a cohesive quarterback room before the Jets decided to trade him for a 3rd-round pick to the New Orleans Saints. It just seems like he's a good locker room guy. And now there's some questions saying that, maybe they're bringing him to compete with Tua, and that very well may be the case. I mean, we saw Teddy be be a starter in the league the last 2 years, right? He was with the Denver Broncos last year. Now, obviously, he's getting kicked out of that because they got Russell Wilson. The year before that, he was in Carolina. And Carolina, I think, is one of those teams that's kind of fooling everyone. I think they're a really bad team. I think Teddy Bridgewater, he honestly should be thanking the heavens that he got out of there when he did. So we don't know what he's going to be doing in Miami. There was a quote of him saying, like, I don't want to release what my role is and stuff like that. So he could very well be told that he's going to be competing for that starting spot, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think some competition sometimes brings out the best in people. I mean, we saw Tua really flourish in college when he was competing with Jalen Hurts and beat Jalen Hurts out and sent Jalen Hurts out of Alabama on his way to Oklahoma, which he ended up being a future Heisman. So pretty good case for both of them, to be honest. But I think Teddy Bridgewater, even though it is going to be a competition, or if it is going to be a competition, I should say, I think it's going to be a really good find to help your young quarterback too. And whether, Teddy beats him out or whether Tua beats him out, I think Teddy Bridgewater is just a good locker room guy from what we've seen around the NFL. And also Teddy Bridgewater is just going to be a much better backup, right? Jacoby Brissett had to come in and play some games last year. Not that he's, the worst quarterback in the league, but I definitely think Teddy Bridgewater or Tua is a huge upgrade at your quarterback too over Jacoby Brissett. So that's somebody they lost in free agency. They didn't really lose anybody in free agency that I would say was too beneficial, right? They signed back, I would say, all of their most important pieces. They signed back Mike Gesicki. I would say that's like one of the biggest things. The Dolphins, they don't have a ton of talent, right? The defense, I think, is going to be one of the things that struggle the most for the Dolphins this year. Just look at the fact that Brian Flores was a defensive mind, and when he started taking over that play calling, that Miami Dolphins defense that started off really poorly was able to turn it around completely, right? I think everyone can remember that Thursday night game against the Ravens. At least I think it was a Thursday night game. It was definitely a primetime game against the Ravens when that defense literally didn't allow Lamar Jackson to do anything. They just played they played that, cover zero defense and just completely shut down Lamar Jackson. Now, I do think that's more Brian Flores' scheme, his game plan and stuff like that, more than it was the defensive players themselves. So I'm definitely interested to see how that defense goes. I definitely think they have some pieces to we saw them be good last year in points. So they definitely have the ability. It's whether or not this new coaching staff is going to be able to bring out that best in the defense. So that's the only question I have about this team. But overall, I think a really solid offseason for the Miami Dolphins. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that the Dolphins had a pretty awesome offseason, or do you think it was pretty lackluster? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the video so much, and have a good day.